Valentine Barco is a here we go. He's officially coming to Chelsea for next season. Chelsea look to battle Manchester United for the signature of Aston Villa superstar Morgan Rogers. Enzo Fernandez and Marc Cucurella are still being linked with moves away from the club. A rumour also suggests that a Premier League club are in for Josh Acheampong. Thiago Silva is officially leaving Porto, but it does look like he's not going to make it onto the Chelsea coaching staff. Thomas Tuchel explains his reasoning for omitting Cole Palmer from the England World Cup squad. And there's a big leak of Chelsea's home kit for next season, and I am not sure how I feel about it. Welcome, Blue Believers, to another episode of the Stamford Sync, where we are syncing up with everything Chelsea FC. And eagle-eyed viewers will notice that I am back in the office. I'm done with the studio. I've been gone for a month, but I am home now, and that means I'm going to be bringing content to you every single day. So let's not waste any time and just get into it. Fabrizio Romano posted this on X last night. Chelsea agreed deal to sign Valentine Barco. Here we go. Agreement in place with the player as RC Strasbourg will let Barco go after an impressive improvement this year. CFC ready to proceed for the Argentinian midfielder from June. So, this isn't news because this got announced a little while ago, right? Not totally dissimilar from the Emmanuel Omega thing, albeit much later. We haven't seen anything about amounts of money yet, but ultimately we've known that Barco is coming for a little while now. We did, it was like over a month ago now that the initial announcement was made. So Barco, interestingly, I think he looks great. I'm really, really interested in the type of profile of player that he is. He's a deep line midfielder or a left back, very versatile player, very creative, looks really, really good on the ball. But the majority of the division seems to be centered around how diminutive he is. So I don't necessarily think that's an issue. I think you look at Marc Cucurella, right? Marc Cucurella, small guy, really, really, really good. I don't think the fact that he's a small player means that he's not going to cut it in the Premier League. Yes, it does mean that there's maybe a little bit more of a mountain to climb in that respect, but his assist numbers are good, his creative numbers are good, and he's not as forward thinking as Enzo Fernandez, right? And I do feel like we need a little bit more creativity from our deep in midfield in general, especially since Fernandez has been playing so far forward for such a long time now. So guys, I'd love to know what you think about this one. Valentine Barco, for me, I did a comparison between him and Enzo Fernandez a little while ago, and they occupy similar spaces, but yes, are very different players. He's not going to replace Enzo Fernandez's output, and we're going to get a little bit more onto Enzo Fernandez later in the video, but 100%, we're not looking at the same type of player as Enzo Fernandez. I wouldn't expect him to play in the 10, for instance. But I do think in a world, as I mentioned earlier, where we might be selling Marc Cucurella, having a player like Valentine Barco, who can play left wing back, if we do back three, he can play left back and also does a really good job in the centre of midfield. I really like him. He's very young. I don't know, it's just what I've just got a feeling, right? And sometimes it's like this with players, and you look at a player like I haven't watched him play loads of games for Strasbourg, I'm not going to lie, but from what I've seen in the statistical analysis that I've done, he definitely offers something that we don't have at the moment, and for one, I'm excited to see him get into the team. I don't think he's going to storm his way into the first team straight away, especially depending on what goes on with the midfield this summer, but I think he's an interesting profile of player, and like I say, I'm excited to see what he can do. So guys, let me know what you think about Valentine Barco in the comments. If we spend a huge amount of money on him, anything more than 25 mil, I think that's where it's going to start to feel a bit like, oh, okay, maybe that's a bit much. But with the Strasbourg link, you'd assume it's probably not going to be that much, right? Because they got him for a snip from Brighton in the first place. Another player trotting the well-worn path from Brighton to Chelsea. Just another football person in general, right? Because we've had so many of those, haven't we? It's crazy. But generally, everyone that's come from Brighton, bar Rob Sanchez, has done really well. So let's hope he does the same. And guys, if you've made it this far into today's episode of the Stamford Sync, please do me the distinct honour of liking and sharing the video, subscribe to the channel, or just roast me in the comments, whatever gets you through your day. Right, so moving on, more player transfer talk, and this time it's about Morgan Rogers. PYS posted this via Ben Jacobs from the United Stand. Chelsea and Manchester United are the two main clubs to watch for Morgan Rogers at the moment, and there's a chance he could communicate where he wants to go before the World Cup. A figure of 80 mil, maybe more if there's a bidding war, is expected to be enough to sanction a sale. So, it's actually quite interesting, isn't it? Because you would have thought, obviously, just looking at Man United at the moment, smashed it, done really, really well. Third place, are they still third place? And maybe after, top four Champions League in the Premier League after finishing 15th last season, having a really tough start to the season under Amorim before they brought Michael Carrick in. You're obviously thinking you look at Man United and that's the better option. But that isn't just what it's about, is it? Now the option is Man United, who had a good season, or Xabi Alonso. This is the thing, isn't it? And this is where we might start to see Xabi Alonso's pulling power of its own. If we win this bid, it will be because we outbid them. I wouldn't, 100 mil feels too much, but 80 mil for Morgan Rogers. Personally, I really like him. I know a couple of you guys are torn on him, so let me know what you think about him down in the comments. I think he could be a really, really good player for us. I think that we need, especially if Enzo Fernandez is going to leave, especially we're going to get on into that in a minute, and if Xabi Alonso plays the three at the back with the two half-space attackers, I think he's kind of perfect for that left or right side. At Unai Emery's Aston Villa over the last few seasons, he has started a lot on the left wing and drifted either into the centre or into the right half space. Feels like he could be another kind of Florian Wirtz type player, and and him and Cole Palmer linking up. Like, I'm desperate to see that. I want the double cold celebration. Absolute wicked time that would be. But ultimately, I do think he looks like a really good player. I think it's just one of those with the prices there as well. He's a reasonably aged, very talented English player, and there's always extra P's, isn't there? The homegrown thing, like, we're never going to get, no one's ever going to get him for like 50, 60 mil or whatever. It's going to be a lot of money wherever he goes. Supposedly, PSG also potentially interested, so it will be interesting to see what happens with that. But I really like the look of Morgan Rogers. I think we need someone to challenge Cole Palmer as much as anything, right? It's not even just about playing with him. Like, this entire season, we have been, other than Enzo Fernandez, and it is still relatively undecided whether that attacking midfield role is the best position for Enzo Fernandez. But you got to think that's kind of Morgan Rogers' whole thing, right? He can play off the left, he can play off the right, he plays really well in the centre, he scores goals, he creates, he's quite physical, not scared of defending either. His heat map shows that he spends quite a lot of time defending resolutely for Aston Villa as well. And I just think that's the kind of player that we need. And like I say, for me, it's as much about bringing someone in to challenge Cole Palmer and to push him for that spot as well. Because Facundo Buonanotte, up until January, Facundo Buonanotte was the only other actual central attacking midfielder that we had. And we definitely need someone else to back up that spot and challenge Cole Palmer for it, which could hopefully bring the best out of both of them. So guys, let me know what you think about it in the comments. Is Morgan Rogers a yay or a nay for you? For me, it's a yay. It's a lot of money, but I think he's worth it. Right, so we're moving on to players that may well be leaving. PYS posted this via Miguel Delaney pertaining to Enzo Fernandez. Sources close to the situation have said there is a very strong chance Enzo Fernandez will play his last ever Chelsea game on Sunday, with a sense that a change would be best for all parties. So this is mixed in and around with other news as well, that Man City are interested in. Man City seem to be interested in a lot of our players, but Enzo Fernandez, Enzo Maresca's like, I like Enzo Fernandez, and obviously because Enzo Maresca's gone to City, the news is always going to be, he's going to go and get all of his favourite players from Chelsea. Look, for me personally, we're going to get into the Man City thing in a minute, but I'm still not convinced that they are going to be able to go out and spend massive on big players next summer or this summer for next season, because I think it's probably not very long before we hear about the punishment that they're going to get. I'll do another big video on that when we get closer to it. Enzo Fernandez, the other option obviously is Real Madrid. That's, a well-trodden story now, isn't it? We've talked about that a lot, the Real Madrid thing. PSG, again, there's only really a couple of clubs that could afford Enzo Fernandez, because what we're not going to do is sell him at a loss. So I don't believe we live in this world where Enzo Fernandez can force his way out of the club. I think he will go if someone comes in with a bid for him that matches our valuation. At the end of the day, he's got 4 years left on his contract, right? So if he had 2 years left on his contract, we would be in a little bit more of a worse position. Obviously, 1 year, like, we've got nothing, but he's got 4 years left on his deal. So at the end of the day, for me, he's not really in a very strong bargaining position. And also, he could develop really well under Xabi Alonso, right? Because Xabi Alonso could do something a little bit different with him. But either way, Xabi Alonso looks like he gets really good performances out of midfielders. Enzo Fernandez could be a little bit excited for the idea of Xabi Alonso coming in as well. And maybe if he loved Maresca, okay, cool, maybe he wants to go and play with Maresca at Man City. I wouldn't be absolutely devastated to see the back of him, and I would also be happy to keep him. I'm relatively indifferent about whether Enzo Fernandez stays or goes. I'm not like, get him out of the club, but also if we get a decent amount of money for him, free up that wage, and we can bring in some other players, like, cool. So guys, as always, let me know what you think about Enzo Fernandez in the comments. Do you think that the Man City links have anything to them? Or do you think it's more likely to be Real Madrid? Do you think he'd get on with Jose Mourinho? Let's have a chat about it in my comment section. So from Enzo Fernandez to Marc Cucurella, this one would hurt. Transfer News Live posted this via Cy Phillips. Enzo Maresca could look to reunite with Marc Cucurella when he succeeds Pep Guardiola at Manchester City this summer. The Spaniard is admired by Maresca following their time together at Chelsea, with City already planning for a potential new era at the Etihad. So, a couple of really interesting things to think about with this one in particular, like whether it be true or not. So the first thing is, like I say, I don't see Maresca as being the prime option to take over from Pep Guardiola in order to keep them going where they're at. I think they foresee troubled waters. I think they're getting very close to the end of the 115 charges. I don't think it's going to go particularly well for them based on what happened to Everton and Nottingham Forest, point deductions for much, much smaller breaches. I do believe that we could see, based on that, Man City slapped with a reasonably hefty points deduction. So it makes sense to get a Maresca in for that, because you would have thought if Pep Guardiola's leaving and you want to go back to challenging for the title straight away, you go for Xabi Alonso, you go for Vincent Kompany, you try and talk Luis Enrique round from PSG, to try and get him over. And for me, there's like a million other managers, not a million, but there's a lot of other managers out there that have a lot more credit in the bank than Enzo Maresca does, and have a lot more, Xabi Alonso's invincible double with Bayer Leverkusen is much more impressive than anything that Enzo Maresca has done in his career, which includes winning the Championship and getting Leicester promoted, and winning the Conference League and the Club World Cup with Chelsea. Those, cool. I love the trophies. I was happy, and I'll always be grateful to Enzo Maresca for those moments. But you're going from the best manager in the world, and then you're like, right, okay, who's going to kick us on? Enzo Maresca, I don't know. For me personally, I don't see Enzo Maresca arriving and Erling Haaland be like, you're the guy that's going to take me to the next level. And Rodri's probably going to go to Real Madrid. I think that Man City might be looking at a bit of an exodus of some of their bigger players this summer. And I also think that they could be looking at a points deduction for next season, which would make sense then to get Maresca in, because it's like, right, we're going to go for a difficult time. We're going to lose some of our players. We have a young crop that we need to work with, and we need to steady the ship. So Enzo Maresca fits that bill for me perfectly, I think. But let me know what you think about that. Now, in terms of the Marc Cucurella stuff, I get it, because City wanted Marc Cucurella. It's the only reason we've got him. Todd Boehly literally came out and said that. He was like, well, Man City wanted him, so I thought I'll have a little bit of that. So that's the reason we've got him. He's been great for us. But the thing with going to City is Nico Riley. Nico Riley is unbelievable. He's so good. 19, 20 years old, going to the World Cup, massive left-footed left back who can play in midfield, and he's got some techers. What a player Nico Riley is at the moment. And if you bring in Marc Cucurella, do you play them both at the same time? I don't know. Do you know what I mean? It seems a little bit weird, doesn't it? Surely if you're bringing in a player for that position, it's another youngster who's not going to mind not playing as much, or an older experienced head, or someone who can play centre-back and left-back. Do you know what I mean? Like a versatile player that can cover a few spots. Marc Cucurella is in the prime of his playing career at the moment. He's really good. Yes, he's tailed off a bit towards the end of the season, 100%, but a lot of our players did, so that isn't just on him. But, he was a big part of those trophies that we did win. He won the Euros with Spain. He's just been an absolutely phenomenal left-back for the last few seasons now, and he is very versatile. You can see why Maresca would be interested in him, because he does that inverting into midfield role very, very well. You can do a lot with him. But for me, there's just so many question marks over Man City being linked to big players at the moment. So only time will tell. We're going to see what's going to happen. I've got a feeling something might be announced during the World Cup about the charges, in order to make it go under the radar a little bit, because everyone will be wrapped up in World Cup fever. But either way, what do you think about this? Marc Cucurella to Man City, and this comes only less than a week after Marc Cucurella has also been linked to Atletico Madrid. So let me know what you think. Oh, I don't like this next one. PYS posted this via Ben Jacobs and the United Stand. Manchester United have scouted Chelsea's Josh Acheampong. Chelsea have always insisted he's not for sale. However, my information is that the player would be quite interested in exploring options if he doesn't feel he's going to get regular game time under Alonso. Chelsea also looking for a new starting centre-back. So, this is the problem with the kids, isn't it? This is the problem with the kids, Josh Acheampong looks like he could be an absolute baller, and my position with him at the moment is get him a Premier League loan to a Brighton, a Crystal Palace, someone like that. He needs a Levi Colwill season, right? Levi Colwill goes out to Brighton, absolutely brilliant. Trevor Chalobah goes to Crystal Palace, and we bring him back because of how good he looks. Josh Acheampong needs to go out and get game time now, and I don't think keeping him in the squad is a good idea, unless Alonso comes in and absolutely adores him and is like, this guy's going to be in my starting back three or back two every single game, which I probably don't think is going to happen, to be completely honest, because we are looking for new centre-backs. I think the only thing you do with Josh Acheampong right now is get him game time, get him out on loan, get him somewhere where he feels trusted and feels comfortable, and he's got an actual shot of fighting to get into the first team. Not a Strasbourg or something like that. It has to be a Premier League one, right? because it feels like he's on the cusp of being good enough. We've seen really amazing performances from Josh Acheampong this season. We've also seen some mistakes. The problem from the Chelsea perspective, we have to kick on next season, right? Josh Acheampong, I really like him, but we are, I think we're still looking at Van Heck. We might be looking at players like Murillo, Levi Colwill, obviously, Trevor Chalobah, hopefully going to stick around. We're going to sell a few of our centre-backs 100%, but I think Josh Acheampong needs a season with more than just rotational squad opportunities, being prostrated to him. So let me know what you think about this one. Manchester United in particular, well, they, their centre-back situation is a little, they've either got really old or really young centre-backs. There's a big split at the moment, isn't there? Josh Acheampong would obviously represent a one more very young centre-back for them. Issue with Josh Acheampong is like the Blueco thing, like he's pure profit waiting to happen. Potential is the most valuable asset for any player on the market these days, isn't it? That's just what happens all the time. So Josh Acheampong obviously has buckets and buckets of potential, and that could mean we could get like a 30 mil for him or something. It's not even just based on how good he is now. It's, we were, Liverpool were inquiring about Levi Colwill after that season at Brighton, weren't they? And they would have been willing to pay top dollar for him, but fortunately we kept him and gave him a big contract. Josh Acheampong, for me, is at the point right now where he has to make that same sort of move. He has to go on loan to a club where he's going to get game time, he's going to grow, he's going to develop, and then we see at the end of the season if he's ready to come back in and fight for a spot. If we do the same thing again that we've done with him this season and just have him in rotation and barely play him, he'll leave. He'll leave 100%. And yes, it might represent a few quid in the bank for Chelsea's, next rebuild project or whatever it's going to be, but at the same time, like, the fans absolutely love him. We need to see more academy players breaking into the first team to give other academy stars an idea that it is worth it. Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh, look, I can actually break into this first team. So let me know what you think about this, guys. For me, I need to see Josh Acheampong get a Premier League loan. I think that's the absolute best option. But what would you do? So that's it for players, but we are going to talk about Thiago Silva. So Chelsea Dodgers posted this via Nazar Kinsella. Thiago Silva is still weighing up his options after leaving Porto. Sources close to him say a final decision has yet to be made, while a coaching role at Chelsea's academy is not understood to be on the table at present. So I don't even know if an academy role would 100% be the right thing. Like, look, the Thiago Silva thing, he's a cult legend. We've all been talking about it for ages. We'd love to see him come back. And, when he went to Porto initially, it was like, bring him back to Chelsea, get him to play for a season and then transition into coaching. He seems to want to move into coaching in one way or another. I don't know if he's learned English yet, actually. We would love to have a Thiago Silva back at the club. Another aura-ridden player that the players around him will look up to and respect because of what he's achieved in the game. It does, so I think his family still live in London, and we do know that there's a lot of love from their side for Chelsea as well. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him get into a Chelsea setup one way or another. I know Xabi Alonso's chosen the majority of his backroom staff now, but if there is any room for someone like a Thiago Silva, I'd love to see him come in. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. So next up, we're going to talk a little bit about the World Cup, and there's been a few omissions so far, João Pedro from Brazil being a big one, but another big one that people are talking about at the moment is Cole Palmer being omitted from the squad in favour, by the looks of it, of Noni Madueke, who has made the squad on that right wing, which is kind of crazy. So Thomas Tuchel has come out talking about the reason that he has omitted Cole Palmer and said this via TalkSport. Cole wasn't as decisive as previous seasons. He wasn't available for us a lot and wasn't decisive. He also competes in the right half-10 position, where we decide for Jude, Morgan, Eberechi Eze, who are outstanding players. Had a better season and more decisive in our camps than Cole. It was a difficult decision and there's no questioning his talent and what he can give to you in moments, but still the decision was against him. Kind of fair at the end of the day, but that's only, so that's only if you see him purely as a number 10. Personally, if you've taken Noni Madueke, I think that you roll the dice on Cole Palmer over Noni Madueke on the right-hand side, just because he can make so much more happen. But it is what it is. In terms of the number 10 stuff, Morgan Rogers, Eberechi Eze and Jude Bellingham have all had relatively good seasons, I guess. Better than Cole Palmer, at least. It's a bit of a weird one, isn't it? Because Phil Foden's been omitted as well. And a lot of England's attacking, creative number 10 kind of players haven't had phenomenal seasons in general. So it's a shame, but from the Chelsea fan perspective, right, the way I'm looking at it now is Estevan Willian, João Pedro, Cole Palmer, Levi Colwill, these guys are all going to be at the club during the summer. working with Xabi Alonso from July 1st, getting a proper pre-season in, having a rest, which for Cole Palmer in particular is so important because he hasn't had a break in like 3 years. It's absolutely wild. You know, there's the Club World Cup and there was the World Cup, and did we not? Is this not in the time that they were back to back or something? Because I can't even remember. But basically, this is his like first break in like 3 years. And obviously he's been injured a lot recently as well, and he's been overused. So he can go and have a lovely holiday, fill himself full of chippy chips, then burn it all off, then come back, get fit, and start playing and practicing and learning from Xabi Alonso for the Chelsea team next season. And like I say, I include that with João Pedro and Levi Colwill and Esteval Willian and a few of the other guys that have been left out of the international squads. So it's a double-edged sword. I would love, as an England fan, obviously I want to see Cole Palmer in there. I'm glad Reece James made the squad. I don't necessarily disagree with what Tuchel's saying, but I don't know, man. You know, he's only talking about that right half 10 position. Like, I still think you take Cole Palmer over Madueke personally, that's what I think. But disagree with me if you disagree with me in the comments. I'd love to have a chat to you about it. So yeah, let me know what you think, guys. Let me know what you think. Cole Palmer's not made the squad. I'm relishing the benefits as a Chelsea fan because hopefully that means we have him fit and firing at the beginning of next season, but it is a shame. And we're going to wrap the video up with this one here. Chelsea Dodgers posted this Chelsea 26-27 home kit long sleeve version. Oh, I don't like it. Oh, I do not like it at all. I'm not going to lie. It looks like pajamas. That's my thing. It looks like polo pajamas, do you know what I mean? And the massive faint Chelsea badge in the middle. Like, I'm not a big fan of yellow being such a focus either, completely honest. Like, I loved all of this season's kits. All of this season kits for me were absolutely stunning. Really, really, really big fan. I'll see this one. It's very, very old school. Like, it feels like decades old. Do you know what I mean? It's got like almost like a 70s, 80s kind of vibe to it. I don't like it. No, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. No World Cup, no Club World Cup badge on it as of yet. I think they've petitioned to have that again, so that might change, but I don't think a Club World Cup badge is going to make this look any better. Maybe the short sleeve one looks better. Maybe it is just a long sleeve thing. I'm not 100% sure, but I see it and I'm like, man, looks like he's going to a sleepover in his PJs. Oh, dear. So, yeah, I would love to know what you guys think about this one. This is not going to be on my hit list at all. Like, I will not be purchasing this kit, I don't think, unless I, need something in the winter to snuggle up in. But no, I'm just not a fan of this kit at all, man. I really don't like it. But I didn't like last season's kit either, to be completely honest, with the weird, Nike were doing that with loads of kits, weren't they? And it had like orange and it was all like swirly, and it's like, I didn't really like that either. I like the clean kits for me. That's like definitely what I like to see. I think you can do pattern kits really well, and they've obviously put a faint pattern on this one, but it's just the big Chelsea. It's just pajamas, bro. It's just pajamas. I literally can't see anything else. Guys, let me know what you think about this kit in the comments. Me, not personally, absolutely not a fan, but it is what it is. If that's going to be our kit next season, I'm still going to support the team. So guys, I'm going to wrap the video up there. Thank you very much for sticking around until the end if you did. Let me know what you think about all of today's talking points. Valentine Barco is a here we go. Personally, I'm excited for him. Let me know what you think. Morgan Rogers potentially on the table. We might have to battle with Manchester United in order to get his signature. Enzo Fernandez, Cucurella, potentially out the door. Both of them wanted by Man City. Enzo Fernandez potentially wanted by Real Madrid. Man United sniffing around Josh Acheampong. Do not like that at all. Thiago Silva doesn't look like he's going to be coming back to Chelsea anytime soon, but I do foresee it happening at some point in the future. What do you think of Thomas Tuchel's words about Cole Palmer not making the squad? And please tell me what you think about that diabolical home kit. It's just a taste thing, isn't it? It's just a taste thing, but yeah, I'm just not a fan at all. Sweet guys, I hope you all have an absolutely wicked day, and I'll catch up with you very, very soon. Take it easy. Peace.